Alright, so Craven has a very long history on my channel. He was my third ever rank 4 character, and I know what you're thinking, if he was your third rank 4, why is he only rank 2 right now? Well, so here's the thing, Craven got nerfed. I mean, technically it was a fix, but like the fix was so altering to Craven that they had to give rank down tickets because yeah, it was a pretty drastic change. And what happened was they like fixed his route to where like the opponent can use a special 3 in his route, and that was just like, it was a dagger for sure. It was a dagger to like one of his best rotations. And I was upset obviously because they like altered him big time, and I took him to rank 1 because I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna stand for this, right? And time has passed, and in like 2024 this month it was announced that Craven was gonna be a defense tactic character, and I was like, you know what, I kind of miss Craven because there was a lot that I could do with Craven on my channel that I just never did. And I feel like if there was a time to do it, it would be right now because I get a benefit out of ranking Craven. So I was like, okay, I think it's time to rank him up. And so that's why this video is a thing, because Craven is not just going back to rank 4, he is not just going to rank 5, he is going to be my next Ascension, my 12th Ascension actually. So yeah, pretty big deal because, ascending characters, it still isn't too common. It's getting pretty common right now, but like, it still isn't like, just, oh, it's like pennies now. I mean, it kind of is getting to that point, but like, I can still enjoy these first few Ascensions. But yeah, I'm excited for this rank up. I think Craven, of course, isn't like a good character. I think he does need to like be buffed big time, but they just haven't done it yet. And when the nerf first happened, I was like, okay, this might lead to a Craven buff, so I'm like all for it. And a long time later, still zero hint about any buff, and I feel like they just don't care about Craven anymore, which does suck, right? Because like, he was the first ever root champion, but then again, I feel like him being the first ever root champion was always just destined to be bad, because when it's the first champion that does something, they're gonna kind of like be light with the experiment, right? And so with Craven, it was like a very light sample of a root champion, and they could always just go back and change things up a bit because they know how to work with root now, but they just do not care about this character for some reason. And I don't know why they don't care, because he's such a cool champion. Like Craven the Hunter, pretty iconic, right? Has a pretty iconic like comic run too, I believe. And he's so cool. He is such a cool character. But yeah, it is what it is. Hey, on the bright side, they didn't like forget about him completely, because he's at least a defense tactic character. But this has been like the first ever sign of anything Craven related in like a very long time. So hey, I will take it, but I just wish we got like more Craven stuff, especially a buff, because he really does want it. I think he can still do some pretty cool things, but if the defense tactic didn't have Craven in it, I would have just never have even thought about taking him back up to rank 5 or like rank 4 even. But here we are. Here are my options for Ascension. I have so many good ones. I have Hulkling, Hercules, I have like Kingpin even, Werewolf by Night, but we're gonna do Craven the Hunter because I said I would to my officer, and I'm not gonna just be like, you know what, never mind, I'll just do someone else instead, because no, that's not cool. So here is Craven being ascended right now, and yeah, pretty hyped for this. I think he's still super fun to play, but he's also just really hard to play sometimes too, and that's where the problems like really start to show, because I think Craven has some pretty cool utility with like the true accuracy and all that, and like the debuff duration reduction, but one thing that he had that was pretty dang cool was the power control, because back when like he was not nerfed, if you had them in the trap, they couldn't throw a single special attack. even the SP3. And that means that if you had the trap up all the time, they just couldn't throw a single special attack, and it was such a fun rotation. But Kabam was like, you know what, that's kind of too good for Craven, who's already pretty bad, so let's just not give him that, and let's just take away pretty much everything from him. So yeah, that got taken away, and now he's just like a fun champion that doesn't necessarily do a lot. So it is what it is. I miss that rotation a lot. It was so fun to fire off because yeah, they just couldn't do a single thing, and it was fun because not only was it like hard to pull off, like really hard to pull off, it was just so rewarding, right? But unfortunately, it is just not a thing anymore. So yeah, he still does have this rotation though, which is really fun, and it is honestly like, you know, it still is satisfying for sure, because like the damage output payoff is massive. Like look at this damage output right here. The bleeds are ticking big time. The crits are looking pretty nice as well. So yeah, it is, of course, like it's still fun to play with this champion. I just wish that like he still had that one rotation. But here we drop the relic, and it does some pretty nice damage, and the bleeds just take him all the way down. So that was like 1minute and 28 seconds. Not bad in the slightest. But now we have the full synergy fight, and this one is just so satisfying because the full synergy, like Craven, is so good because the bleeds are just crazy strong, and he just becomes like so much better as a champion because like the damage output gets a massive improvement. But honestly, I feel like his main issue is utility and like the playstyle, so he just needs help across the board. But we'll have to wait and see like if anything happens with this character. But you know, with this track record, I wouldn't be surprised if like this is just him permanently. But yeah, we go in, first root cycle is up, and so far so good here. Just gonna try to maintain our SP2 till the second root cycle, which here it is. So I drop it now, get the bleeds going again. No crits except for that nice 20,000 plus crit. And yeah, so far it's looking really nice. Here he drops the SP2, no big deal, that is perfect. I drop the heavy attack now, and it's time for cycle number 3 here. I drop another SP2 here, and it does some pretty good damage, but the bleeds are just ticking big time now, and this matchup feels essentially over. I dropped that on accident. I don't know why I did it, but it is what it is. The fight was done in like 1minute and 13 seconds. Really good stuff there. And Craven, of course, is just a really fun champion still. I want to try to do some things with this character, but with his playstyle, it just feels really hard to do that. But maybe I can just, you know, just get better at him. Maybe I'm the issue. I probably am, but like, I don't know. I want to have some fun with this character, and I want to see like if he still is just as fun as I thought he was like back then. But we'll have to see. And yeah, that's about it for me.